on, guys? Zephyrnix here, and I do apologize for the camera. I'm going to actually get a better camera very soon here. Until then, sorry. So let's talk about this whole thing. A lot of people giving a lot of hate on the Wii U as of recently, and you know it's funny. It's funny too because a lot of people didn't believe me when I was talking about that whole media bias, you know, on Nintendo thing. But funny thing is that Nintendo was getting more hate than Sony got when their PlayStation Network got hacked and all the personal information got exposed to the world. Well, not exposed to the world, but exposed to hackers. You know, they didn't get as much hate as Sony got when Sony released not bad ports, but bad exclusives, such as that Gundam game that played exactly like a PlayStation 1 game. You remember that game? Most of you probably don't, because it didn't get a lot of media. You would think it would. You know, how about Identify? Nope, exactly. You probably don't know what Identify is, most of you. But, I mean, the list just goes on and on and on about this kind of stuff here. You know, of course, Nintendo, you know, that's how it is. They just want to hate on Nintendo. But I digress. So let's talk about this whole thing. A lot of people are giving Nintendo some hate here, and let's go ahead and talk about some things right now. First and foremost, a lot of people want to talk about they hate Nintendo because of the bad ports. Now, first of all, I don't understand how you can go ahead and judge the ports on, you know, and say it's Nintendo's fault. You do realize that Nintendo doesn't create the ports, right? I'm just saying. You would blame the other company, but no, you wouldn't blame Nintendo. Of course you do, because that makes perfect no sense at all. So here's the thing. Number one, if you go ahead and create a game on one SKU, right, on one particular configuration of hardware, and then try to port it over to another one, 3 out of 4 is not going to play as good. Ports never play as good. So why would you think anything otherwise, especially a port that has already been finalized and now being pushed over to a hardware that is totally different? That is the primary reason why the PlayStation 3 multi-platform games do not look as good as versus their Xbox 360 counterpart. And please, PlayStation 3 gamers, don't try to tell me, oh, Zephyrnix, that was old. Because Transformers Fall of Cybertron looked like crap on PlayStation 3 versus the Xbox 360 and damn sure versus the PC. So, hush. Anyway, so yeah, of course, you know. Then people want to talk about the slow CPU. Oh, the CPU was slow. Now here's the thing. I got a story for you guys. Do you guys want to hear a story? I thought you did. I thought you did. You look like some story guys. So check us out. I wanted to go ahead and upgrade my current PC to a gaming PC, right? You guys remember, well, I'll get into that in a minute. So what happened was I went ahead and upgraded my memory. I upgraded to faster memory and more memory. How was it? It had no effect on my PC gaming whatsoever. It was still playing the exact same. So I said, okay, well, maybe I need to upgrade the CPU. So I upgraded the CPU. I upgraded into my i7. You guys remember my i7 I used to have for my desktop? Well, guess what? Still same problems. You know, it worked a little better, should I say. But for the most part, nothing that was... It should be a way bigger upgrade than it actually was. So what happened was I wound up buying a video card next. But here's the thing. By that time, I had bought my wife her own computer, and it was an AMD quad-core 3.5 gigahertz. The i7 was a 2.4 gigahertz. But guess what? Guess what? It played better on the i7 than it actually did on the AMD, and the AMD was faster. Now, why? My nose is itching up a storm here. So why did it actually run better? Why did it run better? Because according to you guys, according to your logic, you think that if a processor is slow, then you got a problem. That means you got a slow, you know, that means you got a weak CPU. But I just told you, the processor on the i7 was a 2.4, while the AMD processor was a 3.5. So why was the AMD processor not running as good as the i7 one was? It's simple, because of the simple fact that the i7 had extra features such as SSE3 SSE3 rather, and MMX and things of that nature. There's a lot of features that go ahead and a lot of extra options that are built into processors, and those are what separates gaming from, you know, regular CPU usage. Because granted, yeah, both of them ran the CPU, you know, like day-to-day tasks on a computer fine. But when it came down to gaming, it really has very little to do with how fast your CPU is and how fast your what is. Well, not how fast it is, but, excuse me, the quality of your video card. That is the primary reason. Well, let me get into that one. But that is the reason why these developers have to start working on focusing on the GPU and the cell processor, because the cell processor for the PlayStation 3 version anyway is more graphical, more focused on graphics than it actually is on actual CPU power, just like with the Wii U. Now, if you're going to create a game with the Xbox 360 in mind and then try to port it over to the PlayStation 3 and the Wii U, it's not going to be as good as if you would go and port it over vice versa. If you port it, like if you go ahead and get a PlayStation 3 game or a Wii U game and then port it over, it might actually play better than it actually would on the Xbox 360. But why they start in the Xbox 360 usually? Simply because it's easier to do. It's truth. It's much easier to do on the actual Xbox 360 because it runs off that same architecture that we all know and love, and that is CPU and GPU. CPU, GPU. It's really, really Xbox 360 is closer you're going to get to PC gaming as without buying an actual PC. And because of that, it's much easier to program on versus if you would actually program for these other systems. And that's just truth right there. I don't know. Going back to those port thing, I don't understand why these people really thought that these ports, like, they're getting mad, they're hating rather, because they're like, oh my god, the ports don't run as good, expose. Since the Super Nintendo days, hell, since the Nintendo days, ports have never run as good, But I digress. Haters gonna hate, whatever. All in all, if you really want someone to blame, you gotta blame the developers, because the actual exclusives for the actual Wii U run fine. Zombie U, I haven't played Zombie U, but Breezy TV has played Zombie U, and a lot of people play Zombie U. They said it works beautifully. I don't know where Hard 8 is coming with his information from. Knowing Hard 8, he probably listened to someone else like he usually does, because remember, he was the same guy who said that the PC gaming was crap, and then went ahead and bought himself a PC gaming, and now he's like all on PC gaming's dick now. And funny, because a lot of people, including Nas, was actually laughing at him in the video, but whatever. All in all, long story short, or long story ending right now, Wii U is fine. The exclusives are great. Hopefully this will make developers say, well, maybe we need to develop for the PlayStation 3 and the Wii U first before we develop for the other systems, Then we'll get some 100% great games, Anyway, that's it for now. You guys have a good night. Zephyrnix is out.